Hello Virgo, welcome to your timeless reading. I trust that this will find you when you need it. And as always, use your discernment when listening to tarot readings because I trust that you know your life and your situations the best. These are just general readings that are meant for like confirmation and guidance. And the way that I read is just I'm reading energies and they're general reads. So I feel like this could be playing out for you in career or love or whatever. It's more about underlying patterns or dynamics and like kind of what your soul's growth is trying to teach you right now from sometimes love or career does more specifically seem to talk to me, and I'm using my Kim Kranz Archetypes deck if I didn't already say that, and I'm also using the Mystic Mondays Tarot. Boop. And some cards are coming out for you. We got interesting ones. Virgo. Anything else want to come out? Mystic Mondays. I'll take it. Okay, great. So, we got King of Swords, Ten of Swords in reverse. We also got the Sword, so we got some sword energy going on for you, Virgo. Queen of Cups upright, Temperance, Judgment, Knight of Swords in reverse. Oh, more swords. Okay. Seven of Cups, and we also have the Mask and the Fault Line. Okay. Where to begin? Do we want to start with all these swords? Well, I mean, we certainly have the King and the Knight in reverse. We got the Ten of Swords here. All the what am I trying to say? All the reads I've done so far, which has just been you and Leo, have been like a little bit about chaos, a little bit about things coming to a little bit of a breaking point or being kind of untenable. I mean, with Fault Line, it's like cracks in the structure are really coming out. So there's kind of like the foundations you've based your life on, and I'm gonna knock on wood because I don't really want to deal with an earthquake, but when that happens, it's about, more metaphorically, that things have been tense for a while, and the tension is kind of getting to a point where it can't hold itself anymore, so something has to move, and if there isn't space created for things to move, then they start to crack. Or if they're not flexible, they start to crack. So there might be aspects of your life that feel like they're breaking, falling apart a little bit, but it feels like these situations, and this is so much like the Leo reading, they got the Storm. I think yours is obviously a little bit different because with Leo, their reading was like about them having to like look at underlying issues and resolve them. Whereas for you, I don't feel like per se you're being asked to like change any of these conditions, but more just accept that these things were kind of like coming to this point anyway. Like there's nothing really for you to do or fix here. It's just something that's happening that I think with the Ten of Swords in reverse, it's like there are these endings. It's like these end of the cycle. And the Ten of Swords to me is always like a little bit like less intimidating and less scary than the Three of Swords. Like the Three of Swords is like fresh. It's like, wow, I've literally just been stabbed in the heart. And this Ten of Swords is like there's 10 swords in the back, so it's like maybe I've been stabbed in the back, or maybe like something bad has happened, but it's like this person's like dead, right? Like the blood's already there. It's like they're already, it's in the past, right? So it's like it kind of can't hurt you anymore because it's over. There's a conclusion to this energy that I think is welcome, especially when we're talking about pain, that it's kind of like a little less fresh. Like there's an opportunity now to go and heal from that pain. It's kind of like if I had to go through surgery, this isn't being under the knife. This is like, okay, I've been through the scary part of the surgery, which was like going under. I've survived. the surgery was a success and now it's up to me just to heal. So like that's how it feels. But with the 10 of Swords being in reverse, it also feels to me like there's this sort of like unwillingness to either accept or to like admit that it's over, or admit that this isn't your best interests. Like there's some kind of resistance to the 10 of Swords energy here, which is like, yes, there was this kind of like moment of, I think the sword also is like making a break from something. So this card talks a lot about like the sword is an example of truth, of speaking something, of kind of like cutting cords, and this, it kind of talks about how like if you just like do a like fall like a if you're trying to murder someone, I guess it's a little bit like kinder to do like a clean cut, because then it's a quicker death than to like, you know, just like saw away very slowly and gradually. I don't know why it's going there, Virgo, excuse me. I don't think anyone's murdering anyone, and if they are, then I should quit tarot, because I don't endorse or condone that kind of behavior, murder, but metaphorically, I'm just talking about like this end of situation. So this is feeling potentially like a little bit of a breakup energy, but I certainly don't think all Virgos are going through a breakup. This could be like the end of a job, but also particularly with the fault line, and I was talking about like that mounting tension and things just having to come to a break because there was no flexibility and no room to move, or getting out of a surgery and now being past it. Like it feels to me like whatever this ending is, this end of a cycle, it's also part of kind of like this like getting illuminated with this like clarity and truth of like a new start. And I only mentioned the blunt saw versus the like clean cut because it's like we're talking about the past at this point with the 10 of Swords, and I'm totally channeling, so I barely know what I'm saying, and hopefully this is resonating. But you are meant to leave this in the past, and the blunt sword part of it is kind of like the wanting to hold on to something that doesn't even exist anymore, and or the like making this ending really painfully slow when the ending has to happen anyway. But I don't know that you're actually doing that, but it is sort of a message I'm getting, which is like the past is in the past, right? And this had to come to the point that it was at, right? The fault line, it's like the things were shifting anyway, and it just kind of like it broke open. You had to get the surgery, metaphorically, spiritually, literally. So like there's just no point in like lamenting how it all came about, because it came about and that was the truth, and it was the truth that set you free. And so like the more you kind of like grapple with like lament, I mean, this maybe perhaps is Knight of Swords energy, right? We got these 2 swords, guys or girls or gals or people. It's like, do you want to stay stuck in this rumination forever about this painful chapter of your life that has now come to a conclusion? I mean, I'm not telling you don't feel your feelings. Queen of Cups, feel your feelings. But more like, are you going to overthink, like, with regret about how it all went about? So I think it's like just, I'll stop talking about it after this, but the sword, I think, is just saying, like, don't, like, if you've heard it's like example time. My examples are examples. They're not meant to be, like, telling you what's happening. In an example, a relationship example. You were in a relationship, there was underlying tension, it wasn't really working, there were problems in the relationship, there wasn't space for people to grow, it was, like, not really a healthy connection, things got to a breaking point. Okay, so there was like some kind of truth that came out, and you broke up. But now you're thinking perhaps like, oh God, why did we break up? But maybe the truth was like the person was cheating. And then it's like now overthinking it. Like, how did I not see that? Blah, blah, blah. Like the swords are thinking. So it feels like the place where maybe you have the potential to get stuck, Virgo. I'm not saying this is all Virgos. It's just, again, what I'm getting in my messages and channeling is like, if you overthink what happened and how it all came about, you're keeping yourself in that past. You're using that blunt sword to kind of like keep poking at the wound and like staying stuck in the wound. But really, like, if you can accept that this is over, this cycle, this painful thing, or just accept that the truth was painful, then you can like let yourself be free, because the whole point of the truth was to set you free, right? So I think King of Swords is like, I think here maybe Virgo, you just have a choice, which is like, how are you going to think about the thoughts? The thoughts are going to happen, but in one scenario, the thoughts are kind of controlling you. You feel like a knight. You feel like someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with this. Maybe you feel like someone who's been wronged, especially with this being in reverse, feeling like your thoughts are controlling you. It just keeps coming to me. And King of Swords is like, just, I'm accepting the truth. The truth set me free, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not going to stay stuck in the past and keep going about it. Or like if I got through surgery, and that example, I'm glad I got it when I did, and I now have my life ahead of me. I have something to look forward to because I'm not dead, because I did survive this ordeal. And King of Swords also being master of my own mind. It's like when I am feeling maybe like more of these like lamenting, oh, woe is me thoughts, this has been so painful, this whole situation, kind of like coming back to the present moment. And I learned a new technique that I've been trying, and I'll share it with you just kind of briefly. It's kind of called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's like, first I name 5 things I see. And like right now I see, I see the King of Swords. I see the Knight of Swords in reverse. I see my like little knickknacks on my top of my thing. I see my tattoo. I see my shirt. That's 5 things. I say 5 things that I hear. You hear my voice. Blah, 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 blah. We would like go through 5 things that we hear. And then 5 things you feel, and not just like feel like, not feel internally, but like I feel my fingers clasping on the cards. I feel my hair against my neck. And then you go 4 things, and then you go 3 things, and you go 2 things and 1. And like the point of that is like you're forcing yourself to be presently aware of your environment and where you are right now by making these lists. That's a King of Swords tool in your tool belt to bring you back here to the present moment, to get out of this rumination of all this pain, because that will ultimately keep you stuck. Because I think that the rest of this reading wants to be about moving forward. So let's talk about the rest of your reading, about moving forward. Been through kind of this cataclysmic moment of a truth being revealed, a breaking point, and having kind of an ending that is ultimately going to lead to a new beginning. And having to kind of like move through that pain, but not necessarily, it doesn't feel again like the pain is something that like is keeping you hostage emotionally. It's more like a thought process. So, but with the feelings, with the Queen of Cups showing up, it's like this is also another tool that you can use, Virgo, if you are going through kind of this intense like endings and beginnings moment of feeling your feelings. And that can be crying, right? That can be like, it's, if you went through surgery and you were in pain, it's okay to cry. If you went through a breakup, it's okay to cry. I think that what I'm talking about over there was more like the ruminating, lamenting about like how things got to the point that they were at. I think that it's like, let go of the past. The past happened. So you don't need to rehash the story of the past, but the past lives in your body, so you can feel it. You can kind of release it. Like, it wants to come through you. So I think Queen of Cups is just saying like, and this is upright too, right? So it's like feminine or water energy is just feel it to heal it. Just kind of like, don't think over intellectualize this whole event. Just feel through it. Feel what's coming up. Allow it to happen. Allow yourself to purge emotionally what's coming through, or allow yourself to like also enjoy your life. I got 7 of Cups, interesting, and I got the Mask, and I got Judgment and Temperance, and my cat Lucky is here. Do you want to say hello? No? Do you want to contribute to the tarot reading? What do you think? Yeah? So she's pretty calm right now. Okay, I'll let her anyway, sorry. She's very cute to me. You're feeling things. Okay, I think there's a lot of options on the table for you with Seven of Cups. And I'm also kind of feeling that with the Mask energy. And then we also got the Judgment. I mean, the Judgment feels a lot like kind of a lot of what I've been saying. But I think, like, in terms of moving forward, Virgo, in the next chapter of your life, like, Judgment, like, there's this hallway in space, there's these two mirrors, and it's kind of like, I think you're at this point where you can kind of, like, look at this was the feeling your feelings. So you're feeling your feelings, and in the midst of feeling your feelings, you are perhaps coming to this point of being able to see your life from a little bit of a cosmic perspective is really what I want to say. Of, like, I'm almost kind of getting like the Akashic Records type of thing. I'm not really versed in that, but excuse me, she's like eating things she shouldn't. Okay, it's fine. Pardon me, Virgo. Cosmic perspective, you're getting one. And as a result of all this, it's sort of like, let's go back to surgery. Let's just say, like, it was kind of a life or death situation, and you could have potentially lost your life. I'm not saying all Virgos went through life and death surgery. Certainly not, but it's just the example of, like, if you have a fresh start, if you have a chance to live again, if you have a chance to kind of start all over in a little bit of a way and do things differently from now on, or if you just have this new opportunity again, or even if it was a breakup, you have this opportunity to love again. It's like the Judgment card, I'm like saying, like, with this ending comes an opportunity to see everything from a new perspective, to see where maybe you don't want to repeat some of the stuff that you did in the past, or that you want something new. And like Seven of Cups, again, there's all these options on the table. Like, kind of like, you can go anywhere from here. Like, you don't have to be limited by your old ideas of yourself. And that's, again, I think where the Mask is coming in, is the Mask talks a lot about archetypes, actually. And this is an Archetypes deck, but this is kind of like saying, like, one of the questions, I think, from the book is, like, talking about, like, if there's, like, a character in a movie, TV show, book, film that, like, really resonates with you, like, what is it about that character that, like, really speaks to you? Because those are also your own attributes, right? Like, just because Superman is heroic, oh my god, why is Superman the example? Superman is heroic, well, where is, like, the heroism within you, right? Where are you kind of a person who wants to save the day? What does that mean to you? What would that look like to you? So I think the Mask is inviting you just to try on a bunch of different new personas, and maybe to connect with archetypes of, like, figures in popular culture, for example, that you do like, and to ask yourself, like, what is it about them that I admire, and do I have that within me, and how can I emulate that in my life kind of moving forward? So it's kind of like, again, cosmic perspective. I'm not saying you're dying, but I am saying you're kind of coming to that breaking point, fault line. And you kind of get a chance to reinvent yourself with Judgment. Also, the fault line, something else I wanted to say is, like, oh god, what is it called in Japanese when ikigai? Well, ikigai is a sense of purpose. Anyway, it's like when you break a vase and, like, when you glue it back together, you or you, like, mend it together with gold. So that was something that I kind of thought about or felt but didn't mention here with this breaking point, and I feel like it's kind of coming up, right? Which is, like, how have you changed, and where has that change, like, kind of made your shape different, but also, like, gold, as in, like, what were the like with these crack lines, if you fill them in with gold, like kind of to say that it's about you having an opportunity to become this like more nuanced dimensional version of yourself. With this dimensional version of yourself, as in maybe your whole life you thought like, I'm gonna be a doctor when I grow up. I don't know. And you know, you went to, I mean, I've been reading Michael Crichton's stuff lately. I mean, he's someone who went to medical school, finished all 4 years of it, and then never became a doctor, and then became a writer. But his time in medical school informed his writing. He wrote about it, and it informed his perspective. So I guess that's something I feel like I'm getting with all this, is like you're moving forward, but your past has informed who you've become. So it's something you can use, even if it feels broken. It's kind of like the gold mending you together, for kind of shaping you into this dimensional person who has a little bit more to offer. You're getting this cosmic perspective of getting to like have this fresh start beginning, knowing all that you know now. If you, like, you know, they say like if you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you do differently? It's like you have that opportunity. You get to go back now knowing what you know now, and you get to do it differently. And there's all these options on the table, and I don't think Seven of Cups can be about like illusions or like whatever, but right now I'm feeling really much like this is just like anything's possible for you. Like there's like really an abundance of just like multiple timelines that you can tap into, and it can be anything. And with the mask, it's like how do you want to connect with yourself? Like what parts of yourself do you want to explore deeper? Maybe there are parts of yourself that you didn't really feel like allowed to be for your whole life. Maybe within like a quote unquote bad relationship, maybe if we were going back to a relationship example, maybe your partner wouldn't let you have a cat that meows, you know? And now that you can have a cat that meows, that's like a part of something you could explore about yourself. I don't know. And I also pulled Temperance, and I feel like that's just kind of going back to what I was saying about the gold a little bit, which is like your pain or like this trauma maybe that you've survived. I'm not saying that trauma makes people good or that trauma is good, or like I'm not trying to glamorize or do anything of that sort with like pain that we've been through, but I guess it's like more the point of like feeling all those feelings and accepting our narrative as it's been, accepting ourselves. I feel like it's more what I'm talking about, accepting how our lives have gone, accept that it shaped us, you know, not glorifying anything that anyone did wrong to us, any wrongdoings, but more just sort of like not like kind of incorporating it, right? Digesting it, like, and then moving past it, so we're not carrying like this heavy burden all the time. And I don't know if you can hear that, but she's investigating. All right. So the mask, who do you want to be? Who's your, like, not like who's your best self, but like kind of what part? Hey, okay. Stop. No. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, look at who you are interested in. Maybe like look at popular culture type characters, what you like about them, and how those aspects exist within you, and how you can kind of let yourself have opportunities to become and like live up to a healed version of yourself, and to like let yourself have fun exploring all these new opportunities, and to let this trip into the unknown, because this is really also sort of the unknown that you're embarking on. As you embark on the unknown, who can you kind of become? And transmuting pain into purpose, or just into a new fresh start, temperance, balancing out all this stuff. So I would just say it's like kind of a little bit of like incorporating shadow and turning that into light, so that you can kind of just have fun exploring and becoming new versions of yourself, having lived up to this point in your life. Fresh start, in a way. fresh start, but knowing what you know now, having lived through everything you've lived through, and incorporating who you've become, and allowing yourself to become even more than you knew was possible. All right, I'll leave it at that, Virgo. Whew. So if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments like what your situation is. I'd love to hear. And also like and subscribe because it helps me continue to do this work. And I love you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.